Ask Reddit by different post 6. What's a large company that isn't corrupt or greedy and genuinely cares about their customers? They're not perfect by any means, but Bob's Red Mill seems to be relatively not evil. The owner turned the whole company employee owned, and it doesn't look like they've been embroiled in any major controversies. They just seem to pay decently and make tasty granola. I love their steel cut oats. I'll never go back to regular oatmeal. Bosch. It's basically set up to generate money for charity. 94% shares held by charity, 6% by Bosch family. It's a private company, so they aren't driven by fund managers towards short-term goals. Climate neutral since 2020. They also happen to invest double on R&D to the industry average. They are my first preference when buying tools or appliances, as they are reasonably priced and last quite well. This is good to know. Their products are routinely of a very high quality. Taylor Guitars. Just gave 100% of the company to all the employees in an ESOP. Also the biggest acoustic maker in the world and has a huge following of very happy customers. Need more companies like this in the US. Having the company be employee owned makes a bigger difference than almost anything else mentioned in this thread. King Arthur Baking Company. Employee owned, excellent products, a very informative helpline, and even a class for baking. King Arthur flour is about the only flour I buy anymore. Excellent quality, nice and soft, and I have to actively try to get it to clump up. I never have to sift it, and if that ain't the mark of quality flour, I dunno what is. Zippo. You bought a $30 lighter? Lifetime warranty. I've gotten so many zippers fixed. Usually hinge pins and they come back polished with a fresh wick and cotton. Dave's Killer Bread. They give employment to individuals with criminal records who are having a hard time gaining employment. Part of their second chance program. I had a great experience with their customer service a few months ago where the product I bought wasn't meeting expectations. They were able to comp me for the purchase. Overall great company. Interestingly, Bob's Red Mill was also mentioned in this thread. It's literally across the street from Dave's Killer Bread in Milwaukee, Oregon. https://newmansound.com/mission/right square bracket open bracket https://newmansound.com mission. Newman's Own equals the best. They give 100% of profits away to kids and charities. It's the only salad dressing I buy specifically because of this reason. Plus their Caesar dressing is the best. They donate to the non-profit I work for. Timpsons. They actively recruit reformed offenders to give them a second chance in life and a possible career. Of course the person has to be willing to do this. Dave's Killer Bread does that. Dave I think was a felon. They've been bought out by Flower Foods but the website says they still actively hire felons. I can remember when he used to sell bread out of a cart at Saturday Market. Costco. Definitely Costco. Pays their employees top dollar. Their return policy is second to none. They sell rotisserie chicken and hot dogs to their members at a loss, and they don't make more than 15% profit on the items they sell. Their goal is to deliver value to people. No one has mentioned, at least until the 10-20 comments I scrolled to, Tony's Chocolonely. It's a Dutch chocolate brand who go to great lengths to ensure that cocoa farmers are getting paid well and there's no child labor involved. I used to work in the chocolate industry. While yes, Tony Chocolonely was founded on the principle of addressing and solving the issues of cocoa bean trading, however today the story is a bit different. Nowadays they have a new owner and it's a mass producer of chocolate just like any other. It is always mentioned in documentaries or shows about the chocolate market but they always reference the first years of Tony Chocolonely, the original owner and what he stood for. Which is not the case anymore. In Canada it used to be mech. Back when they were Mountain Equipment Co-op, they were great. They treated their employees well, paid them well, had excellent return policies, good prices, and instead of upselling they truly tried to find you the equipment you needed, not just the most expensive items they could well you. Since they got taken over by a private investment company, the pay has stagnated, employees are pushed to upsell, their commitment to sustainability has gone by the wayside, the prices have gone up, they've started focusing on premium high margin brands instead of sourcing items to sell under their own brand that high quality but affordable, and they are contemplating closing stores that don't make enough profit. It's really gone downhill since they became Mountain Equipment Company. The downhill slide started before they went bankrupt and got bought by a private equity firm from LA. Most of the worst of the downhill slide started with David Labista becoming CEO. Relogic, creators of Terraria. There's a reason they won Steam's Labor of Love award. They've poured their hearts and souls into that game for over a decade now. The CEO is very active in the community and frequently will reply to player feature suggestion directly and be like sure why not, and add said feature. They also donated a bunch to some smaller game engine companies after the whole Unity engine fiasco. Oh, and no MTX ever. You love to see it. The worst part of being Redigit, the creator of Terraria, the 8th best-selling video game of all time, is listening to your wife fangirl over Stardew Valley. His wife also works on Terraria. Those two are absolute gems. Arizona iced tea. CEO refuses to increase the price from $0.99. I was in Australia not too long ago. Each can was being sold for $5.99 at a 7-Eleven. That's when I realized I can never live in Australia. Duolingo, with how much they've been threatening me, I think it's safe to say that they actually want me to learn. Lol. Say it in a different language. The Mozilla Foundation. Heb, a grocery store in Texas, is much beloved there for supporting small ranchers, farmers, locally made products and lots of community investment programs. I've lived all over the states and never seen as much allegiance to business as Heb garners. They probably also have a faster response to natural disasters than most federal agencies. That company used to be Google, whose mission statement used to begin with "Don't be evil," like Microsoft. That was in the long before times though, before the androids took over. My sister has been with them for 5 years, and says in just the last 1-2 years the tone of the company has gotten a lot more hostile amongst employees. Patagonia. They have, at last I counted, 3 times switched fill producers for their gear upon finding out, discovering, or being notified that they are sourcing unethical resources. They did so proactively and before any furor was raised on Twitter, shaming them into action, so you know they were genuinely concerned when they heard that they were aiding and abetting slave cotton plantations in Xinjiang province. Market Basket in New England. The employees actually fought to bring their ousted CEO back. To add additional context for those reading this, the super simplified summary is this. 2 cousins are the primary guys who are running it. They are the sons of the founders. One, on the board of directors, cares more about increasing profits and the other, CEO, cares more about sticking to their values. The former gets the rest of the board, primarily other members of the family, to oust the latter. Employees engage in huge protests, and that side of the family eventually agrees to sell their shares of the company to the ousted CEO. Chewy.com. And the handwritten birthday cards. Amazing. Credit unions. I recommend joining your local credit union over whatever bank you are using. They provide similar services and are generally non-profit or not-for-profit. My credit union is a major one in town and state. They use all their profits to build new branches. It really pissed off the banks in town that are for profit. Dr. Bronner's soap. Look it up. Super cool business model too. And an amazing history. My brother works for them. Can confirm. In Texas, Heb grocery stores. I read a story during our winter freeze blackouts a few years ago about a bunch of customers shopping last minute at an Heb when suddenly the power went out. All the registers went out, even the self-checkouts. There were dozens if not hundreds of people in the store. I don't think anyone counted. Heb managers told every person in the store to take home what they had in their shopping cart, free of charge. If only they ran our electrical infrastructure, too. The farmer's dog. We had only ordered from them once before we had to suddenly put our dog down due to an aggressive cancer. Our subscription renewed before we could cancel, but we emailed them to ask if there was somewhere we could donate the food. Without asking, they refunded our money and then went through the trouble of sending a handwritten card and a plant. We went through a similar situation. It was very touching because they didn't have to do anything but they chose to be kind. Sorry for your loss. Chewy. I receive handwritten notes from them wishing my pets a happy birthday and a condolence card when a pet passed away. I keep seeing people say that. We've been ordering from them for years and I've never seen a card come through, but perhaps I missed them.